Ladies and gentlemen, the emergency broadcast system is in place. For the first time ever, live at 365, it's Poor Man's Pot!
Hello! Is anybody out there? Welcome to Poor Man's Pot. This show has been running for quite a while, last 7 years or so, and obviously with things changing around the place, we've decided to move it to a live streaming version, whatever that means. So we're super excited to be here. Poor Man's Pot is, we got the name from an old bush recipe. It's basically like an old soup recipe where instead of selecting your ingredients, you just get whatever you've got, chuck it in the pot, and hope that it's going to be palatable. If not palatable, at least edible. So allow me to introduce my two cobbers here who have been with me from the beginning. To my left here, the handsome young gentleman with the very, very, very sincere eyebrows, Reece Lyne. Reece, tell us the last 7 days, what has changed in your life?
Well, come Monday, I was still at work, and come Monday afternoon, my job had gone, and I still don't have a job, and here we are right now. It's terrific.
A few small changes, minor changes.
Minor changes in these times of need. And in the man on my far right-hand side, the musician, the stoic man himself, bleak times, but a good protection around him, Mr. Daniel J. Townsend.
G'day. My life has changed fairly significantly over the past 7 days. 7 days ago, I was glibly referring to pandemics, and 6 days ago, I was less glibly, and 5 days ago, I was fairly sincerely referring to pandemics, and now I disinfect everything. That's a big change. And I've really learned how to wash my hands, which I think is a great thing for everybody.
You look a bit like a Mexican bandit with that thing on, so I'm glad you got rid of it.
Oh, that's a bad thing, is it? The man in the middle, Bert Spinks, who lives in a train, poops in the ground, and showers when it rains. Bert, how has your life changed in the past 7 days?
Yeah, look, on paper, not that much. I've actually been practicing social distancing for quite a few years now. But of course, everything is changing. And maybe the biggest one for us is we were supposed to have this show in a pub Thursday night. Obviously, like everything else, it got canned. And so we've been fortunate enough to be invited here and into wherever the hell you watch a live streaming thingy.
Neither Bert
Yeah,
nor
I
I
am,
knew what live streaming was. Reece, you're quite
Yeah, I'm
up
on the
with it.
comments, so if you've got the comments, I've just told the YouTube people I'm there, but for the Facebook crew, I'm here as well. Millennially modeling everything.
Please heckle and hackle as much as you possibly can, because Reece is going to be easily distracted with his phone over there. Help us out.
Yeah.
Serendipitously, our theme for the show on Thursday was supposed to be technology.
It's very serendipitous, and it was always going to be, I mean, every time we do this show, for those who've never seen it before, we basically pick a topic. We try and drag in a few more people than we have tonight for good reasons, I'm sure you'll agree. And we try and have a crack at this topic from as many angles as we can, and then we usually walk away half-pissed and realising we've done a half-assed job of it. So it's not just tonight that the show is a bit experimental, loosey-goosey kind of thing, but obviously tonight's a little bit special. You know, we took it seriously, the technology theme. We just took it seriously, and we've decided to do something completely different altogether.
Yeah, we thought, as fun as it is to be just making stuff up on the spot at a pub, how about we find a studio with billions of dollars worth of equipment and just get ourselves into people's phones, like Mike TV on Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, just becoming little people.
We are part of you now. And
That's what
we'll
we thought
never
we'd
let
do.
go.
I wouldn't have said that exactly, but okay, that's what we're doing. So look, we had the show coming up, and I thought, okay, I'm not really someone who's very knowledgeable about these sorts of things, so let's try and put some effort in. So I picked up a book that for some reason I own on cybernetics.
Slow down, we're getting excited, but
Yes, well, the good news is that I got to page 3 on this book on cybernetics, got to the etymology of the word. It's an ancient Greek word, kubernetes. Forgive me if I've mispronounced it, but my ancient Greek teacher was a guy who consistently interrupted our class to talk about pop music. So anyway, got to page 3, found the Greek word, decided to reread the Odyssey instead, that ancient Greek epic, which may not seem like something that is going to help us talk about technology, but of course, take us all the way back these millennia to the Mediterranean, and we're on the plane that the word technology has come from. That's also an ancient Greek word. I know you tuned in for a bit of historic lessons on languages, but
We're tuning out for similar reasons.
yeah, techne is a word that basically means craft. Craft, art, creation. And Kubernetes as well, just while we're on the topic, basically is a word that means it's the person who's at the helm of a ship. And I started thinking about technology in this way, that this is the things that we create in order to control our lives a little bit more, to be at the helm, to be piloting the vehicle, so to speak. I was stoked to reread the Odyssey. I've got not much else to do, so that was a great way to spend a couple of days. But it also is a way, and this was really the main thrust of what was going on here, is that I didn't want to just stand here for an hour, screaming, "Twitter is shit! Fuck, I hate Twitter!"
He does that all the time.
What a waste of fucking time! I've come up with a sort of logical, intelligent, and positive way for us to look at creativity and technology, at least from the outset. I'll be here at the back of the show, crouched behind these beautiful pot plants and saying exactly that. So, technology, that's where we're at. That's what we're doing here. Welcome to Poor Man's Pot. Welcome to the ride. And we're going to make it up as we go along. And maybe say a few more Greek words as well. Whoppa!
Whoppa!
Whoppa! Fun fact for talking about technology, for those who didn't know, Twitter was founded by T.W. Itter back in 1982 because he liked birds so much.
Thanks for that fun fact, Reece. For those of you who are unaware, I come from a time before the internet. I am the generation that was born analog and grew up digital. Video killed the radio star, but then DVDs killed the video star, and then internet killed the DVD star, and I don't know who's going to kill them next. But this is a song about what the internet used to be like. When I was 14 and the internet was new, you'd book in half an hour at the library every week or two, and it was special, and it was slow. You'd spend the whole time waiting for the bloody thing to load. We've come a long way. We've come a long way. We've come a long way. I got a little older. We bought our own PC with a modem that we plugged into the wall next to the fax machine. 5 people in the home. One line for the phone, so when everyone was sleeping, I'd go online alone. I'd sneak into the office and I'd deftly close the door. I'm sure that you could guess what I was hoping for. I'd boot up the 486 and I'd wait patiently long enough to make and drink a decent cup of tea. 'Cause we come a long way. We come a long way. We come a long way. Yes, we come. I open MS-DOS and Windows 3.1, and then I'd have to turn the modem on. That modem was so loud, it was enough to change your mind. But if no creature stirred, then the internet was mine. And then by 4 a.m., I'd filled my floppy disk with 5 low-resolution topless Elle Macpherson pics. I'd come a long way. Come a long way. Yes, we've come a long way.
Daniel J. Townsend.
DGT.
Have you ever won an award? I'd like to call you the award-winning Daniel J. Townsend if you've ever won anything.
Sure have. I was Little Aussie of the Month in grade 4. In a
Little
school of
Aussie of the Month.
Yeah.
School
In
of
a
how many?
School of 80 kids, and I was the first winner of Little Aussie of the Month. So yeah. I don't know
good?
what that
Charming,
means,
if anything.
but yes, I'm an award-winning human.
Well, you're starting to get a taste of what this show is. Equal parts linguistics, equal parts crass humour. And look, Reece, I was going to ask you, what's the first website you ever went to?
Steering away from Daniel's crassness, the first website I ever did go to was something called rebelscum.com. And don't let the name fool you. It's just a Star Wars action figure collecting website that would detail each individual figure in and outside of their own box. So, saucy stuff.
Is that something you still visit, Reece?
Yes, I do still to this day.
What about you, Bert? What's
Yeah,
the first
interesting.
website you ever visited?
It was, I do remember it. I went into my dad's work where that was the first place that I knew of that had the internet. And it was a cricket statistics website, crickinfo.com. I was really into statistics and really into cricketers' names, actually. Different names from different parts of the world. And I guess that was kind of what the internet was, and it definitely still is. I'd like to say hello for the first time Poor Man's Pot has international viewers, which is fucking terrifying.
It's very weird.
Good luck to you
sorry.
if you're watching from LA or from Belgium or
Cressy.
from Mexico City. Most of our audience don't understand what's going on, but you're going to have a harder time than most. And so it is. There's this bridges the distance. I don't know. What about you, Daniel?
The first website I ever saw was in grade 8. And Mr. Green sat us down and said, I have got a very exciting lesson for you in computer class. We went to a room full of, well, not quite full of computers. There was enough for 3 people to 1 computer. And he loaded up the very first picture I had seen on the internet. And he said, now, in the past, if you wanted to look at a map of the world, you'd go to the atlas, or maybe a map on the wall. But in the future, people will look up maps on the computer. And he clicked, and then we literally spent the rest of the lesson waiting for the map to load, which was like one little line at a time. And we were all complaining because we were in grade 8. This is stupid. There's a map right there on the wall. And Mr. Green's going, no, this is the future. This is the future. And we all knew that he was wrong.
And Mr. Green, if you're watching,
Mr.
you
Green.
absolute dickhead.
He really was. He sells real estate now.
Okay. He's not watching. Well, look, that is, I do think there is something interesting, for us here in Tassie. I mean, we're at the arse end of the world. If you're watching from somewhere else, Tasmania's at the bottom. It's not the east part of Africa. And, we're a long way away, and lots of things are happening elsewhere. Obviously, it's happening here too, the coronavirus stuff, but we're actually moving very slowly compared to other places. And I guess I was chatting to my brother. My brother lives in France. With his wife, and they're in complete lockdown. They're stuck in their apartment. Maybe you're in that case as well, but that for me was definitely food for thought, and I thought I'd present it in a way that is typical, traditional Tasmanian folkloric culture. I've put it together in what we call a bush poem, and Daniel, I know you have strong feelings about bush poems. If you want to describe to the audience what they're in for.
A bush poem is what happens when a white Australian male romanticises the bush that he never goes to. And he likes to speak in rhyming couplets with a little knowing wink every now and then.
That's pretty much right, and, mostly pretty shit rhymes too. So here we go. I've got myself a brother. The big fella's name is Buck. And I have to spare a thought for his poor dear wife who's stuck with him in their apartment somewhere in downtown France, without room enough to swing a cat or do that nutbush dance. Right now I'm told his behaviour is perfectly within reason. He's got a subscription to watch the footy every game of the season. But there's going to be a problem, maybe more than they can stand, now that it's all over. The bloody AFL's been canned. If I was stuck with Bucko, I know what I'd panic buy. A bag of nails, a hammer, and a few good feet of ply. I'd turn that little apartment into 2 tiny wooden cells. It'd be sad to have so little space, but to live with my brother? Hell. Da-dow.
I love the way it rhymed at the end of each line, Bert.
Yeah, that's the
Bloody repetition.
absolute essence.
The
As
sounds
I
came through
am-
your nose as well, which was also pretty Aussie.
I
Reece,
just wanted to call attention. My phone is on 1%. Your brother and his lovely wife are watching right now. So there you are.
Bucko, you're shit.
That's really unlikely. Reece, why is your phone on 1%? You've got access to the world's most powerful piece of information, and
Yeah, things are getting hectic over here.
That's a
but
real
It's
glitch.
fine.
have your
Everything's going to be
charger?
okay. Everything's going to be fine. We've
Technology.
Seems unlikely.
Yeah, don't panic, guys.
late.
But
Stop it.
Speaking of speaking of panic, from our leader himself, I wandered in front of the ABC News when I was just spending my days in my pajamas, and I got a little brief nugget of information from Scotty from marketing of him telling me to stop it in reference to bulk buying or panic buying, which is the most teachery voice I've ever heard him say. Stop it. Oh, hello. I'll take the Reece cam here. Stop it. And as we've been hearing about essentials, non-essentials, how are we feeling?
Have you done any panic buying, Reece?
I am the proud owner of the, as of, I think it was Tuesday, the final can of Heinz baked beans at my local Coles supermarket. And the shelves are empty now.
Trampled an old lady to get there.
I wanted that baby beans.
The essentials, non-essentials thing has really got me thinking, that's for sure. Because even a week ago, we spoke as if we were really egalitarian. There's a place for everyone. We're all on the same team. Australians come together in times of adversity. And then 20 minutes later, it's like, actually, no, we would stab each other in the car park for a toilet roll. And there are some essential parts of Australia, and the rest is non-essential. Or there are essential ways of living and non-essential ways of living. There's essential travel and non-essential travel. And it's all been said out loud. It's almost like the emperor's told us, I've actually been naked the whole time. You don't need to travel around the world all the time. That's not a thing. That's a luxury. In fact, even going to Tasmania from anywhere else in Australia, that's a bit of a luxury as well. To be able to get up and travel through the air, as much as we like to think of it as a normal part of life, it's actually a non-essential thing.
Even travelling Tasmania is kind of non-essential. Though I am going up to Launceston to visit my parents, but that is essentially for my mum to do my laundry.
Thanks, Reece. You sure you're not a dad? So I'm hoping
Take that to the Reece cam? Maybe.
I'm hoping after whatever this is and however long it goes for, that we remember what the essentials and the non-essentials are. You know, the people in hospitals and the people working in schools, holy cow, working with 25 kids in a room have been told, deadly coronavirus, deadly coronavirus, deadly coronavirus, business as usual. They are doing a bang-up job and they are essential, and I hope we remember that.
And I think, people like myself who live in the bush, I mean, we've realised for a long time that toilet paper is not essential. But it is interesting looking at what people are panic buying in my local rural supermarket. The canned veggies, they're all gone, except for black beans, which is great. I can do my Mexican dishes, and anything organic still on the shelf. The 30 cents extra, not worth it. But we thought we'd put Reece to the test. Reece is, he's a finger on the pulse kind of guy.
Yep.
And so we thought we'd chuck a few things at him. Today he was fascinated by an object, and we realised that Reece really knows what matters and what doesn't.
Yeah.
So
Are we on the Reece cam? Cool.
We're
Okay.
going to call this segment Reece Sells Shit.
All right. Hello, everyone. First off, don't worry about essential things like toilet paper. They're the non-essentials now. I would like to demonstrate this amazing pencil sharpener. As you see, unlike your average one, it does have the 2 slots, but one is very particular. One is purely for the wood. That's great. Got some ASMR there. And you can see that the lead is a bit odd there. That's great. So what you're going to do is just sharpen the lead in particular. And now stay with me here. Wow. Check that out. That's right. That's what we're doing here. So good pencil sharpener, very important during the apocalypse. What else you got for
wow,
me?
indeed. All right, so the next object I have for you is this one.
All right. Now, as the this is the early stages of the zombie apocalypse, and the power companies are still working. They're the hard workers along with landlords, still going hard at it. So what you'll need once the power shuts out is a good couple of candles. Keep the light on. We've never been without lights since 1862. That was when Edmund R. Light invented the light. Go on.
I don't have electricity, so I definitely need candles. What about this one?
Sell it, Reece. Sell it.
Oh, sorry. Yes, very essential. So documents, folders, pieces of paper, they can get scrambled because the internet's probably going to go down, and so you're going to go back into analog things such as paper. And look, say I've got 2 sheets of paper. That's one, and this is the other. Oh, crazy. But then, with the power of this, everything's good again.
He's pretty good at this. Sell it, Reece.
This is useless. Okay, now here we're talking about tape. Now tape is great because you can actually record a whole album on tape. Back before digital downloads happened, we used to use this. So get your analog music, keep it going, put it on a tape, and that's going to be perfect for songs to strum into the next life, if there is such a thing.
And now the most useless item of all, keep yourself alive, Reece.
Okay, all right, goodness me. Now here we go. One off. Limited edition. Can I get some other cam works over here? Yeah, limited edition. Poor Man's Pot t-shirt. I've got those plosive there. Poor Man's Pot t-shirt. One of a kind in a size medium. So we'll get some auctioneers going on in the live chats. My phone has, yes, carked it, but that's okay. So if you're bidding, just pop a number down, whatever number you'd pay for this in Australian dollars. It is going down in the US dollars. I've been noticing that. That's okay. So just keep on going. Two different chats, whatever. Big number wins. We'll find that out at the end. Congratulations.
So are we seriously actually selling that t-shirt that I made today?
This isn't part of a joke. This is a true thing. This shirt, great shirt, beautiful shirt.
I made that on my dining table today.
You didn't make it. Your daughter's made it.
Well, I was nearby when it was being made.
Family-made shirt. Oh my
Child
goodness.
labour.
Yes.
If I was a skeptical viewer at home thinking, I'm not so sure about this, where's my money going?
Oh yeah, I'm out of a job. I get the money.
So you're going to sell something that my kids made to make money for your baked bean collecting life.
That's how child labour works. We got to keep the wheels of capitalism turning.
All right, so in 20 minutes or so, somebody is going to own the only Poor Man's Pot t-shirt in the world, except for possibly the other one behind you.
Yeah. If anyone can be bothered, feel free to. If you're on, we're on Twitch as well, apparently.
Yeah, if you're playing the Poor Man's Pot video game, here we are.
Yeah, you're losing. Hey, I hope you're going okay out there. Essential, non-essential, Daniel?
Yeah. Back when I was younger, I feel like there was less non-essential things. But that's because I'm old, and that's what happens as you get older.
Boomer.
Yeah, totally. This is a song about riding around on my bike looking for my mates, only to discover that they were all with each other. They were actually watching Sirens, which has Elle Macpherson in it. Reece, you might want to look that up later.
Yes.
Make a note, Sirens.
Elle Macpherson.
Yeah. So this is a true story. It's called On Your Bike. Sunday morning, lonely falls. Monday morning, school bell calls. Uniform hangs board upon the line. It's how you know it's time. Wrote to you, your mom answered the door. You stood there in my helmet, feeling small. Your mother's guess was as good as mine. She said, get back on your bike. Son, get on your bike, get on your bike. Son, get on your bike, get on your bike. Your mother's guess, it was as good as mine. Get back on your bike. You weren't at the skate park, you weren't at the beach. You navigated cul-de-sacs and brand new suburb streets. Some kid said he'd seen you with 3 other guys. My 4 mates on their bike. So I spent the afternoon riding around looking for the 4 of you. The thought was there in the back of my mind. Never gonna find you. Get on your bike, get on your bike, son. Get on your bike, get on your bike. The thought was always Sunday morning, darkness falls. I'm leaning up against the milk bar wall. I'll ask tomorrow where you were this time.
Daniel Townsend, very beautiful.
Not at the same time.
Oh,
Sounds like cows shitting.
we do miss having a live audience, but this is great. This is actually,
gorgeous.
well, we're having a good time. You're probably having a horrible, or you've switched off and we're talking to no one. Hello! Look, I've noticed that one of the things that happens when you get a group of people together to talk about technology, they tend to go into nostalgia. That seems to be a bit of a thing, and it kind of makes sense. You know, the technology that you have used is the way that you've lived your life, in a sense. And so, you know, talking about not having phones back in the day, getting around on your bikes, that's definitely and on your Rebel Scum website. I mean, these must be very special memories to you, and also because it's really hard to think about what technology is going to be doing in the future. A bit like old mate Mr. Green, like he didn't have a clue. But to sort of imagine what the future is going to hold with technology. And I guess, again, I'm trying to get myself out of my usual framework of thinking about these things. So I kind of tried to start thinking about a future moment related to today's technology. But of course, to do that, I had to look into the past. I know it sounds crazy, but that's how it fucking works, people. And so I sort of had this flashback this week where I remembered the darkest time in my life. I was a teenager, I was pretty miserable, and I guess I fell into a pretty serious vice. I've never confessed this, I guess, before, so bear with me. But
I guess the internet is probably the best place to confess.
Exactly.
yeah, well, that's right. It's good to just talk it out in front of everyone. And anyway, I got into American comedy when I was a teenager. I mean, it's crazy to think about those days now, and I could never go back there. But I used to, as a teenager, this is dead set, I used to watch, just jump on Ozstar, most beautiful word in the English language, satellite TV, and we would watch, you know, everything, Simpsons, Seinfeld, go through the whole works, and I'd still be up late at night when it was the talk shows. And I admit, I dreamed of being Conan O'Brien. And you know, one of the things as we go through this nostalgic journey thinking about technology, I realised that today, because of these suddenly changed circumstances, the live show is on pause for an indefinite period of time. The arts are resilient, we adapt, we come up with new things, and today I am achieving a goal of my life, to be a television star. I am a television star.
We're all very proud of you.
And then I realised that, you know, there are going to be people at home watching this schmozzle and thinking, I could fucking do that. It's not that hard. They're not very good. And someday in the future, there's going to be someone who creates something and they're inspired by us. And that means a lot to me. And I hope for all the other artists out there who are inventing things on the spot, suddenly realising that what we have done for a long time is not going to be feasible possibly for a long time. I hope you realise that these new technologies, as bizarre and uncomfortable as they are, might possibly turn out to be something quite beautiful as well. That's my guess.
Yep. Or, alternatively, stop it. Just stop it.
This is a song about flying kites. I wrote it after visiting Indonesia.
Non-essentially.
Non-essentially. Ephemeral, eternal, beautiful and small. We are high in someone else's sky until the day we fall. We are tangled in the wires that stars above electric roads. We are tied up in the branches of tired highway ghosts. We are stranded where we landed, in a field far from your town. But we were made by loving hands, and we are never far from found. Ephemeral, eternal, beautiful and small. We are kites in someone else's sky, until the day we fall.
Well, we are coming towards the end of our time here, but I guess we need to find out if we sold this
Gotta
shirt
bring it back.
or not.
I'm without the internet at the moment, so if anyone's looking at the chat, seeing what we've got, I think we'll get
Nah.
a little
No one
messenger
knows.
boy coming in. Whoopie daisy. That's a reminder for this
$50,000.
Wow.
Whoever.
We're getting a hand
we're-
signal. Do you
we're
want to
gonna-
just come and make a
Peter,
cameo?
yeah, Peter, come and
on up.
announce.
Come on up. Take your time.
It's okay. Oh, there's some beautiful comments.
Great.
Come on up.
Peter McGecky, everybody.
Peter.
Also a beautiful musician in his own right. Oh, yeah. Oh, you have to make your decision, I guess.
It's like a Q&A now,
I
isn't
think
it?
That's the, I think that's the winning. That looks like a winning note.
Yeah.
Adam Orr would have preferred some more cricket chat.
Ori will definitely work on that for the next show. I guess the cricket's been cancelled too, so there's not too much to talk about, but we could go back to cricket in the 80s, which is what I imagine all the cricket commentators are doing right now, just sitting together talking about, well, do you remember that match, the West Indies versus Pakistan, 1982, and McGovern went for he had a particularly long run-up in that particular season, and he went all the way back down. They were playing in Kingston, if I remember correctly, and he went down to the fish market and picked up some trout and came back and bowled the ball alongside the trout. And anyway, that's our cricket chat.
Lewin would like to say hello, Bert.
G'day, Lewin.
Terrific. First off, I've got a message from a lovely Janelle Townsend. This is Willow. I helped make that shirt. Angry emoji. So Willow did help make this shirt. That's Daniel's lovely daughter. I got some shout outs
Hi,
to
Willow.
do.
The money's going to Reece.
Shout outs to Eddie James, Teresa C, Hannah Morell, the Adam Moore, Lauren Hay, Jason Bennett, and someone called Gracie McDonald. Sounds like a lovely lady and total sweetheart. So thanks, Gracie. Anywho, we've got the auction winners coming in with 45 plus a can of beans plus a song about a quoll is Cat Cullen.
All right.
So, yippee! Yay!
That's $45 worth of beans for you there,
Yeah,
Reece.
that's
Plus the
amazing.
can of beans.
Plus beans.
Can of beans.
That's pretty good. Thank you for being part
Thank
of the
you.
auction, folks. Very much
Well
appreciated.
done, Kat. And thank you so much just for, if you are actually, if there's anyone out there still watching, thank you so much. Hopefully we can do this again. And an enormous thanks to Live at 365. This is pretty
Yes.
special space.
The overwhelming response I did have while I was looking at the comments was how professional and everyone's liking how this all looks. So thanks, everybody.
Professional, we
You were all
absolutely
there.
scammed
Absolutely.
you people.
With
Yes.
the-
Fuck yes.
With the result of the exception of the 1% phone, that you really let us
Yes,
down.
that was
Yeah.
the professionalness comes from everyone back of house. Up
right,
here,
yeah.
the unprofessionalness
true. Yeah.
continues
Same shit, different day.
forever.
Absolutely.
All right, let's land this jumbo.
Let's land it. We're going to finish in a traditional way, and that is with me telling a story that is very long-winded and is just a segue to where we actually want to finish. Yes. May or may not be true, may be made up on the spot just to make sure that we actually get to the place we want to go. So I was many years ago on a road trip with a mate of mine, and we were driving in the northwest of Tassie, which if you don't know, it's this sort of pretty rough and tumble sort of place, a bit rugged, and we had a few days up that way. Very beautiful part of the island, and driving up there and just flying by the seat of our pants, I guess. But it was the early days of Google Maps, so we were using that a little bit. It was a bit unnecessary. I kind of knew the place all right, but off we went, listening to the voice telling us where to go. And at one stage, the directions just seemed a bit dodgy, and it was a turn off that seemed a bit sudden and a bit unnecessary. And my mate was like, "Come on!" And well, that's what the thingy says. And I was like, "Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that we can still get to the next town that way." And he's like, "No." And it was just this like gravel road, and the gate was open, but that's you shouldn't really be going through gated tracks, I guess. So down we went, and of course the road got rutted very quickly and potholed, and then it just sort of disappeared, and we were in this forest and got bogged, like properly bogged, stuck there. We were trying to figure out our way out, couldn't do it, jump out of the car, trying to work out what you do next, and we hear this muffled voice coming from somewhere in the darkness of the trees. "Wait, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Well, let's just go. Let's run." And my mate's like, no, a bit more intrepid than me. "Oh, well, maybe this bloke can get us out." And this fella emerges from the shrubs. He's got part of it in his hair, wild hair, and, just like a feral-looking bloke. Same jumper he's had on for the last 3 months. Smells like it too. Bloodshot eyes. And we sort of explain our predicament and, hope that maybe he'll help us out. And he's like, "Come with me, boys, come with me." And, again, I was like, "Nah, let's not." And my mate's like, "Nah, we should go. This guy's going to help us out." And the bloke's like, "Yeah, we'll have a bit of whiskey and then we'll figure it out." I was like, "All right, well, let's have some whiskey." We all agreed at that stage. So we went to his place and had whiskey, and it was just like this tin shed. And there's part of Tassie where you get a shit ton of rain, and it was this little shack. It was a nothing sort of place. Little fire in the middle, and absolutely rough as guts sort of place. And he's like, "Righto, you boys, tell me your story. Tell me what you're doing here." And so we told him the story, and of course he'd never heard of Google Maps, so we explained what all that was going on, and he just started chuckling. And finally my mate's like, I wasn't going to ask, but "What's so funny, mate?" He's like, all this shit you're on, your internet, it's waste of time. "All right, you've told me your story," he said. "Well, I'm going to tell you mine. I'm going to tell you about my life offline." And I guess it went a little something like this. So I live in this old shack with no electricity, no internet connection, and no great pity. To a modern way of doing things, my friends, I'm not inclined. I'm perfectly content with my life offline. Life offline. Life offline. Your heart skips a beat every time that you look to see you got a message on your profile on Facebook. Well, good boy Pavlov's dog, you're responding to the design, but you won't condition me in my life offline. Life offline. Life offline. Photos or it didn't happen. What a sham. There's nothing less real than what you see on Instagram. No one requests to be my friends, but you won't see me crying. I'll meet them down at the pub in my life offline. Life offline. Life offline. So the world in its web moves in a downward spiral, and now you see how sick we get when shit keeps going viral. Can't you say you know the news when you only read headlines? I'll think my own thoughts, thanks, in this life offline. Life offline. Life offline. Business and government, they say they want my daughter. They're gonna have to track me down. They're gonna work a bit harder. Find me on the mountainside with a flask full of wine, soaking up the freedom from my life of line.
Life of line. Life of line. Life of line. Life of line. Life of line. Life of line. Life of line. Life of line. Life of line.
In my life of line.
Life of line.
In my life of line.
Life of line.
Woo! Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Internet.
That's where I'm headed now, offline. I'm going bush for the next week, so you won't see me for a while. But a massive thanks to everyone who has made it possible for us to do this show online. And a special thanks to these two cobbers who have been on a great many adventures with me over the last 7 years, and this is just another one. And to you all, thanks for joining us. I think we're about finished here. Beautiful. In my life of line.
Thank you again, live at 365. You beautiful, beautiful souls. Ta-ta.